thanks to the director for his nice words. I didn't understand anything, but in the way he said it, I agree. I will start by expressing my thanks to all of you for being here today, and this really beautiful court that opened this session. I know that the governor will be here because he is somewhere else, given what is happening right now in the region, but I salute his wife, who is here with us, the kind Asia, to convey to him my warmest regards. My dear friend, Dr. Dimitris, thank you so much for your hospitality. I still recall the very first contact we had in Athens, where you convinced me that it is worth being here and discovering this beautiful, with a great future part of Turkey. Ambassador thank you very much for being with us today. We are former colleagues, you're an ambassador, I have been myself in the past, but I decided to retire at the moment, to step down in order to get in this adventure of politics. So here I think of doing something like this, do it now. Well, then I had to salute my good friend, Mr. Rizal, who is here today. Actually, he was the matchmaker of this meeting. So of course, I would like to address the students of this university. And I would tell them that I'm here with my heart, because I believe in the main cause of this university under the leadership of Idris, who has managed to make the image of this university even greater around the world. So thanks again for being with us today. It is truly, believe me, a pleasure and an honor to be here with you today. I would like again to express my thanks to all of you and to Dr. David for this invitation and for giving me this opportunity to be part of this very important event. Batman University has consistently shown its dedication to academic excellence and tackling the critical challenges of our times. I'm really grateful to join today's discussions with prominent guests that I met this morning, which will no doubt help shape the future of our region and beyond. Because whatever is local today, it's becoming automatically international and sometimes global. Energy, we all know that, has become a key factor shaping the Eastern Mediterranean's economic and political landscape. The discovery of offshore gas reserves is driving economic growth by creating jobs, attracting investments, and boosting infrastructure. Countries in the region like Greece, Egypt, Cyprus, Turkey, Israel can use these resources for energy exports, improving their global economic standing. Diversifying energy sources also enhances regional and European energy security by reducing dependency on traditional suppliers. Infrastructure projects, such as pipelines, create interdependencies that support regional stability. Additionally, the focus is shifting towards sustainability as countries explore renewable energy alongside fossil fuels, contributing to global energy transitions and environmental stability. The geopolitical environment has been, as you know, rapidly changing in recent years. The world is not as it was 5-10 years ago, and we all experience the reshaping of global political, academic, economic and social relations. Spheres of influence are constantly being redefined, while key players, global stakeholders, are repositioning their strategic interests on the global chessboard. Several new zones of geostrategic influence have emerged due to this shifting global dynamics. These emerging zones reflect the changing dynamics of the international system and the evolving priorities of major powers in an interconnected world. I said before that whatever is local is automatically global, and whatever is global will become automatically local. This is the new window that has opened in front of our eyes, especially for you younger generations. A deeper understanding of these new areas of competition and cooperation will be crucial for countries in the future. And this is something that all national leaders have to understand in order to adapt their strategy in the benefit of their countries and of their citizens. It will help them protect their interests and advance their strategic goals in the 21st century. An example of these rapid changes is our broader neighborhood, the Eastern Mediterranean. It is a complex region with many ongoing unresolved issues that have geopolitical and economic impacts and directly affect security. First of all, the major issue of maritime zone delimitation. You know that the big problem in the Mediterranean, that's where everything starts from, is how one day leaders of the countries will decide to proceed to an objective delimitation of the maritime zones. These are overlapping claims regarding maritime borders and exclusive economic zones between the countries in the region, particularly between Greece, Cyprus, Turkey, Israel, and Egypt. These disputes are linked to the exploration and exploitation of hydrocarbon resources, which often lead to tensions that can potentially escalate into conflicts. Addressing these issues requires diplomatic effort, but also a new vision about the world, dialogue and cooperation between the countries in the region, along with support from the international community. Resolving long-standing conflicts, ensuring good governance, promoting economic development, and strengthening regional cooperation are essential for achieving peace and stability in the Eastern Mediterranean. Energy governance can be a key driver of peace and stability in the region, but it must take place under the framework of international law and with respect for national sovereignty and sovereign rights. As countries in the Eastern Mediterranean share common interests in energy exploration and exploitation, there is significant potential for cooperation. I always say that our times can be qualified in the future as the times of global synthesis. We have to get rid of what was inherited by the past in the younger generations. Joint energy projects, resource sharing agreements, and regional energy infrastructure can become strong incentives for better mutual understanding, respect, and cooperation. By aligning their energy objectives and ensuring that all actions are grounded in legal principles and respect for each country's rights, these nations can reduce tensions foster trust, and create a stable environment for long-term economic growth and security. The Eastern Mediterranean region, rich in energy resources, it was a gift to us by God and nature, presents a unique opportunity for peace building, particularly in the context of the Cyprus issue and maritime boundaries. The potential for energy collaboration could pave the way to constructive dialogue and cooperation among countries in the region. The gas discoveries in the Eastern Mediterranean have unlocked entirely new opportunities for all countries in the region. While mostly Turkey, Israel, Egypt, and Cyprus. Transitioning all these countries from energy consumer to potential net exporter stands to significantly enhance its energy security while gaining greater political flexibility. This shift is particularly crucial in a period where energy security has become a pressing concern, especially following the growing instability in the region due to the aftermath of the crisis in Gaza and Lebanon. For Cyprus, for instance, which was in the midst of an economic downturn, the energy discoveries have offered a path to improve its energy security and develop a medium-term strategy to capitalize on its energy wealth. Other countries in the region have also been indirectly impacted by the potential monetarization of resources in Israel and Cyprus. Jordan, Egypt, and Turkey in particular could benefit by meeting their growing energy demands and enhancing their energy security. Egypt specifically could capitalize on its LNG infrastructure to export Eastern Mediterranean resources to international markets, further boosting its economy. Greece would also benefit from the new discoveries in the Eastern Mediterranean, enhancing its energy security and generating economic gains. Additionally, my country, Greece, would gain a higher international profile by potentially acting as a transit state for energy supplies to the European Union's market, especially now that the war in Ukraine has put Europe from an energy point of view on its knees. This role will not only strengthen its strategic position, but also contribute to regional stability and cooperation, as it seeks to diversify energy sources for Europe. It is possible that we can achieve peace by remaking regional energy security. As I said, Cyprus is a key factor to pursue this goal. The long-standing Cyprus issue remains central to discussions about energy cooperation, and I'm more than happy to see that the dialogue has been resumed during these days. Hopefully, we can reach a happy end of that. Establishing a stable and peaceful environment on the island is crucial for unlocking the full potential of the region's energy resources. Collaborative efforts in joint energy ventures could serve as a path toward resolving territorial disputes. On the other hand, the Cyprus exclusive economic zone hosts substantial natural gas deposits, such as the Aphrodite and Calypso fields. These discoveries position this country as a key player in the region's energy landscape. Its strategic location and energy potential have the ability to contribute to Europe's energy security by offering alternative supply routes and reducing dependence on traditional sources. Why do I say all these things? Cyprus located in the center of the Eastern Mediterranean area. If the Cyprus issue is resolved, then immediately the Cyprus, as an independent state, can delimitate maritime zones with Egypt, Lebanon, Israel, and with Turkey, but also with Greece. From that moment, Turkey and Greece can delimitate automatically overnight their maritime zones. So the idea, from a conceptual point of view in the beginning, can really give an end to this pending issue that has put us many times in difficult moments. Additionally, Cyprus can play a crucial role in fostering regional cooperation and stability through joint energy projects. Moreover, a clear and fair delimitation of maritime zones and continental shelves is essential. This not only creates a framework for responsible exploitation of resources, but also fosters trust and minimizes conflicts. Countries must approach negotiations with a willingness to compromise and collaborate, laying the grounds for shared benefits. In other words, they have to give an end to the old, obsolete stereotypes of their foreign policy. The world has changed, as Mr. Dimitris said in the beginning. We have entered the zone, let's say, the boundaries of a new era. Energy, coming back to our issue, has the potential to serve as a bridge among nations by focusing on collaborative projects such as natural gas pipelines, renewable energy initiatives, and infrastructure developments. Countries can build interdependence that encourage peaceful coexistence. Shared energy interests may foster dialogue that extend beyond economic benefits to long-term political and geopolitical stability. Both Turkey and Greece have pivotal roles to play in this dynamic. And this is something that everybody has to understand. By stepping away from historic rivalries and engaging in constructive dialogue, under the principle of mutual respect, they can lead the way in fostering trust and consequently regional cooperation. Collaborative energy projects would not only enhance regional security, but also promote, as I said before, mutual understanding. Another similar example, far away from us, is the Arctic. Nobody is thinking about it, which is becoming a strategic battleground for Russia and the United States, driven by its vast energy resources and emerging geopolitical importance. Why is that? Now the ice is melting there. So the two continents are approaching each other. And at the bottom of the sea there are huge quantities of gas and oil. Can you imagine a new nuclear crisis in this part of the world? However, diplomacy, Mr. Ambassador, plays a crucial role in managing tensions. Arctic councils and multilateral agreements have been instrumental in fostering dialogue and cooperation and ensuring that competition over energy resources does not escalate, as I said, in conflicts. Ongoing diplomatic efforts focus on establishing frameworks for resources sharing, environmental protection, and ensuring that the region remains a zone of peaceful cooperation, despite the underlying strategic rivalry. Through these channels, diplomacy helps balance energy interests with regional stability. It is time to shed the obsolete stereotypes, as I said before, born from the past rivalries. A new narrative centered around cooperation and mutual benefits can transform the perception of energy from a source of conflict to one of cooperation. By embracing this shift, countries can work towards a more peaceful future. In summary, energy can act as a powerful instrument for peace in the Eastern Mediterranean and beyond. And I think this should be the message that this gathering here should send all over the world. Because Batman is at the epicenter of energy today, and it's going to become on one of the most important places not only to invest, but also to draw lessons of how you can exploit all these important gifts given to this region by history and nature. In summary, we are there. We emphasize on dialogue, collaboration, and mutual respect. This will be key in addressing the challenges posed by problems in the region like the Cyprus issue. Maritime boundaries and historical rivalries inherited to us by the past. But you, especially addressing young students here, you are not prisoners of the past, you are the makers of the future. And think about it. You cannot live but only in a peaceful, cooperative world. The world will change. The great revolutions in transport, telecommunication, internet, AI have created a new world. And you, as Idris said before in the beginning, this is what is my message around and our view. You are citizens of the world. Open the doors, the windows of your thoughts. Of course, love your country, but at the same time, know that you are citizens of the planet. Share your responsibilities with your colleagues around the world and give the world a more auspicious future. The time is right for progressive leaders to embrace this approach and transform the landscape to international relations in the region. At this moment, it is with deep appreciation that I extend again my thanks to Programı University for not only for the world of the hospitality that I enjoy, but for creating an environment rich with intellectual curiosity and exchange. This summit stands as a testament of the university's vision and your record, one that boldly seeks to bridge academia with real-world challenges. Batman University's potential to become a beacon of academic influence in Turkey and not only is unmistakable, particularly as it spearheads initiatives like this, which transcend mere academic exercises and engage with pressing issues of our times. You are cultivating a culture of forward-thinking leadership, and I am honored to witness firsthand the strides this institution is making in shaping the intellectual and practical future of your great country. This spirit of collaboration is essential in addressing the complex challenges of our time, especially in our region. As a politician from a neighbor country, as a politician and diplomat from Greece and Europe, as it was said before, I firmly believe in the importance of reconciliation between Greece and Turkey, rooted in the principles of international law and mutual respect for national sovereignty and sovereign rights. I don't know whether you know that, but I've been among the architects of the Greek-Turkish rapprochement since the time I was mayor of Athens, establishing excellent relations with the mayor of Istanbul at that time, your president today, Mr. Erdogan, and since then we have managed to cooperate in many fields. And I will keep doing that in the future because I believe in that. It is somehow the legacy of our generation to your generation. Our history has shown that dialogue and cooperation can pave the way for mutual understanding and stability in the region, which is in the benefit of our citizens. I'm convinced that energy stability can significantly contribute to this goal. By working together on energy projects and sharing resources, both nations can find common ground that promotes peace and fosters economic growth. It is essential that both countries adhere to United Nations resolutions and seek peaceful solutions to our differences. By focusing on our shared interests and fostering a spirit of partnership, we can build a future where both countries thrive while ensuring that the rights and dignity of each state are upheld. This commitment to peaceful coexistence is vital for the prosperity of our peoples and the security of our region. But most importantly, by creating a better future for the young people who today see this changing world sending very negative message from the future. Today I have chosen the title of my speech because I'm not an expert on energy. I'm a consumer, but not an expert. The title of my speech was, and is, Energy as a Factor of Stability and Peaceful Cooperation. Because whatever is happening starts by being political at first hand, and then the results can be beneficial for the citizens of the world. As I said before, you young people think, act, and start dream as citizens of the whole world. This is what Socrates, the Greek philosopher, had said, but also another Greek philosopher from the other side of the planet, Confucius. So, I wish you all the best. Thank you very much for your invitation, and thank you very much for your attention.
Yeah. We would like to thank our guests for giving us very important issues in the field of energy. If you have any questions, please share the questions with us. Yes. Yeah, I think they have microphones.
Sir, first of all, I want to say thank you for coming here, and it was a pleasure to see you in Bama University. My question is, how do energy security and energy dependency shape conflict dynamics among Eastern Mediterranean countries?
I was very clear before when I said that the Eastern Mediterranean can be an area of peaceful cooperation. I referred to the pending issues. But I also said that it's a question of visionary leaders to make a step forward by leaving behind the obsolete stereotypes of the past. Because if we continue like this, first of all, we shall never live in peace in the future, and the second, we shall never manage to exploit all these resources offered to us by nature and history. So, Eastern Mediterranean was always the place where the big conflicts were taking place. It is up to us, and mostly to your generation, to make it an area of stability, peace, and cooperation. Believe me, it is not difficult. It's a question of will and of understanding and translating better the messages of our times. I said before, you are citizens of the world. You love your country, we all love our countries. But it's not necessarily to hate the other side. It's the difference between populism, nationalism, and patriotism. In patriotism, you love your country. In nationalism, you hate the country of the other. There are always some who drag us to this direction. So, let's change our mindset. This is my answer. At all levels. I know that the citizens are very much influenced by their political leaders. So it is what we need today. To open our eyes, to open our minds, and start thinking of how can we create very peaceful conditions for the future. This part of Turkey has also suffered in the past. Also Middle East and Eastern Mediterranean. That's why I gave you a good example before. If we manage to sort some problems out, then the door will be open for a better future. So I believe in that, and I'm working on it as a diplomat before and as a European Commissioner. I can tell you many, many stories that justify my approach on that. We have given positive results at all levels. And believe me, we are not far away from achieving this goal. It depends on whom are we trusting to lead us in the future. That's a good thing.
Thank you, sir, for coming to our university. Very appreciated to have you here. And I have a question for you. It's a kind of long question, so I couldn't memorize it and then read from here. Sorry for that. So So how can the sharing of energy resources affect ethnic and political tension in the Eastern Mediterranean, and what diplomatic strategy would be most effective in this process?
Can you speak louder?
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
now the microphone should be far away.
Okay.
Yeah.
How can the sharing of energy resources affect ethnicity and political tension in the Eastern Mediterranean, and what diplomatic strategies will be most effective in this process?
Again, I was very clear on that before. I knew what would be the most important questions at the end of my speech. As I explained to your colleague some minutes ago, Eastern Mediterranean can be transformed to a landscape of better understanding among us. But in order to achieve that, we have to get rid of all these old-fashioned and obsolete nationalist approaches. What is given to us belongs to all of us, and we have to share not only responsibility of how to exploit it, but by setting up schemes that can help us to better respond to the message of our planet. This is very, very clear. It's a question, it is not only practical and diplomatic and political, it's also philosophical. How do we perceive and explain what is the century we live and what is the future of this world? You know, the world is at a very critical moment. We either go back to the past by instigating conflicts that we lead to a major catastrophe, or to work together in order to avoid it and create better conditions for the future. That's why I said before, it's a question of leadership. And here is the responsibility of citizens, whom they choose, whom they vote for, and what do they expect from them. Because this is their role. And now global leadership, allow me to share this point of view with you, is very weak. You see how weak is the United Nations now? Nobody is taking in consideration what UN is telling us. The other day I met Mr. Stiglitz in Athens, and we shared the same approach. How can we enhance international cooperation if we do not deepen international cooperation, if we do not enhance international institutions? International institutions become powerful, unfortunately, in order to manage the consequences of a catastrophe, as it happened in the aftermath of the Second World War. Now, we need to approach our times in the way I explained before, but at the same time, we need the support of international institutions. Unfortunately, I see that there is not only weakness. Some countries transfer at this level their own perceptions on how they can prevail upon other countries outside the world. So this is the question of mindset change. But the responsibility of citizens should not be excused. Because today we have complaints for our leadership, for our political leadership, but we do not focus on our own responsibility. That's why I said before, and I urge you not to follow the rhetorics of populists and nationalists. They will drag the whole world and your generation in a new adventure, and you cannot stand it now. Because of what's happening right now, for instance, in Ukraine, I will remind you what Einstein said in the aftermath of the Second World War. I don't know whether the Third War will ever take place, but I know how to take place, with spears and arrows. That's what I feel.
Next question. O arkadaşı seçmiştik.
Hi, it is a pleasure to see you here. Welcome to Tasman University. How do energy discoveries in the Eastern Mediterranean deepen or resolve disputes over international law and maritime boundaries?
You said it in a very clear way. What is international law? It's one of the biggest achievements of mankind. government, the way of the civil reform. We have to stick. Everything is very clear, but the base of international law is not something theoretical. It's based on mutual respect. That's why some of us support the dialogue between cultures, between religions, between civilizations. Next week with my friend, Raul, we shall be in Portugal for a very important gathering organized by the Undersecretary of the United Nations on the alliance of civilizations. So everything has to do with this aspect of international relations. The one devoted is international law, and the other is how the leaders of all these countries, all our countries, are explaining, interpreting the directives given by the international law. So I agree with you, international interpretation of everything, and we should abstain from that. They give answers to all our questions. The other has to do with domestic political matters. How can you gain more power? By addressing the domestic political audience. That was always a disaster in all countries. I remind you, because I'm sure you students, you are studying history. That's how the world was led to a catastrophe between the two second world wars. Because at that time, populists have managed to debunk democracy and open the door for dictatorships and fascist regimes. And what was the outcome of that? 80 million dead people in Europe and across the world. This is what we should avoid, and the international law is happening. That's a good.
Hi, welcome to Batman University. I have a question for you. How do international actors' energy policies impact peace efforts in the Eastern Mediterranean? Thank you.
It's a very good question, because what do you mean by saying that international actors? Talk about the private companies or the international delegations? There is no doubt that there are strong rivalries at the level of private companies. They all want to exploit the resources of Eastern Mediterranean. Let me remind you that in the aftermath of the First World War, global stakeholders had somehow exploited the natural resources of this part of the world, in Mosul, in Timbuktu, and everywhere. But now we can learn from history how to avoid it. So by putting together the public sector and the private sector under very clear and specific rules, we can have fantastic results. You know, nowadays the public sector does not have money but has power. The private sector has money, but no power. Understand what I mean? They have power but no money. So we have to put them together. And this PP, the public sector in Europe works very well, but it has to work also at an international level. So yes, there are rivalries, there are interests, conflict of interests among companies and among countries. Regarding the countries, they can make their way for a better understanding and managing natural resources exploitation. So we are there. There are discussions all over the world. And what's happening today is this meeting can produce very positive results, but also at the political level. It's not only natural gas, oil. It's how can you manage it in the benefit of the world, of the region, and of the neighboring countries. I said before that the area where your university is very experienced and appointed officially to be the hub, the academic hub for energy, can play a leading role. And I share here the vision of your rector, who really wants to see Batman University becoming an international player in this area. I want to assure you that he's not alone. We share this approach philosophically, politically, and we're going to build a strong alliance to give to this university and the students at university a more important and influential role in the future.